Divine timing over human timetables is the reminder that life is not governed by the deadlines, expectations, or pressures we place on ourselves. We often move through seasons believing everything must happen according to our schedule, our ideal age, our checklist, our 5-year plan. When things don't unfold at the pace we imagined, frustration rises, doubt creeps in, and we begin to assume something is wrong with us. But divine timing teaches us that delay is not always denial. Sometimes it is preparation. It is shaping, maturing, refining and strengthening you for what you asked for, even if you can't yet see the connection. What feels like stagnation from your perspective may actually be strategic progression from God's perspective. In our own timing, we are driven by desire, comparison, pressure, and impatience. We want the job now, the breakthrough now, the clarity now, the provision now. But divine timing is rooted in vision, God's vision. He sees the entire route while we only see the next step. He knows the relationships you must build before you step into your assignment, the character you must develop before you carry responsibility, and the experiences you must endure so you can handle what you're praying for. Sometimes you're not being slowed down, you're being aligned. Divine timing ensures you don't receive something prematurely, because premature blessings can become burdens when you're not ready to sustain them. When a door doesn't open at the time you hoped it would, it's natural to assume you missed your chance. But divine timing shows that a closed door can be evidence of protection rather than rejection. Opportunities that are not meant for you, environments that would stunt your growth, and roles that would drain rather than develop you are often removed from your path. The world may call it a setback, but heaven calls it redirection. You are not late, you are being positioned. You are not behind, you are being prepared. You are not forgotten, you are being formed. The beauty of divine timing is that it frees you from the pressure to force outcomes. It invites you to release control and trust that there is purpose even in silence, value even in waiting, and movement even when life appears still. God's timing does not operate on your clock, your calendar, or your expectations. It operates on your destiny. And while destiny may take longer to unfold than you anticipated, it will always arrive at the exact moment you are capable of carrying it with wisdom, strength, and clarity. Identity before occupation emphasizes that who you are is far more significant than the title you carry, the position you hold, or the job you secure. In a world that constantly evaluates people based on productivity, achievements, and roles, it's easy to attach your value to what you do rather than who you are. When job searching becomes stressful or prolonged, many begin to question their worth, wondering if the lack of opportunities reflects something lacking within themselves. But identity rooted in purpose, character, and divine design is unshaken by employment status. You were someone valuable before any job, and you remain valuable regardless of what you currently have or don't have. Your identity is not shaped by the marketplace. It is shaped by the meaning God placed inside you from the very beginning. A job can give you income, structure, and responsibility, but it cannot define your purpose. Purpose is deeper than a job description. It is connected to your gifts, your heart, your experiences, and the unique impact you were created to make. Sometimes people chase roles because they believe the right position will validate them. They believe the right salary will affirm them. They believe the right title will finally make them feel significant. But if your identity isn't grounded before the opportunity arrives, you'll depend on that opportunity to tell you who you are, and that dependence will always leave you insecure. Jobs can change. Titles can be taken away. Companies can close. But a sense of identity built on purpose and calling remains steady through every transition. Understanding identity before occupation also means recognizing that your value doesn't increase when you're hired and doesn't decrease when you're overlooked. Many people tie their sense of worth to acceptance or rejection from employers, allowing outside decisions to dictate their inner confidence. But rejection from a company is not rejection from your calling. Not being chosen for a job doesn't change the fact that you were chosen for a purpose. And when identity is secure, you can navigate disappointing outcomes without internal collapse, because you know your significance never depended on someone else's approval. When you embrace identity first, you also gain clarity about the work that actually aligns with your calling. Instead of grabbing any opportunity out of pressure or fear, you begin to seek roles that connect with your passions, values, and gifts. This prevents you from settling for positions that drain you or compromise who you are. Identity acts as a filter, guiding you toward environments that support your growth rather than diminish it. It protects you from becoming someone you're not just to fit a job's expectations, and it grounds you enough to walk away from roles that don't honor who you are becoming. Identity before occupation is ultimately about recognizing that your purpose came before your profession. Your existence carries meaning that no job can give or take away. When you know who you are deeply, confidently, spiritually, you approach opportunities with strength instead of desperation, clarity instead of confusion, and worth instead of worry, allowing your identity to guide your path rather than your occupation define it. Redirection is not rejection reminds us that every closed door, every missed opportunity, and every unexpected turn in life may actually be serving a greater purpose than we can see in the moment. When something doesn't work out the way we hoped, it is instinctive to assume we've been denied or dismissed. We take it personally as if the outcome is a statement about our capability, our value, or our future. But redirection is often a form of protection and guidance. It is not about being pushed aside, but being led towards something more aligned with our destiny. What looks like a no on the surface may actually be the divine way of saying, not here, not this, not now. I have something better. People frequently interpret setbacks as signs that they are unqualified or that their dreams are unrealistic. But a setback can be a setup for a stronger foundation. Sometimes the door doesn't open because the environment behind it would have limited your growth, drained your passion, or pulled you off your intended path. Sometimes the timing isn't right, not because you aren't ready to work, but because the role isn't ready for you. There are moments when God is aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances in the background, and what feels like rejection is simply a necessary to ensure everything fits together perfectly. Redirection keeps you from settling in spaces that would have restricted your potential. When you view redirection through the lens of faith, you begin to understand that not every opportunity is meant to be yours, even if it appears perfect. Some doors close because they would have distracted you from discovering your real purpose. Others remain shut because your calling requires a different route than the one you imagined. It's easy to cling to plans that feel comfortable or predictable, but growth often requires discomfort. Redirection pushes you out of familiarity and into the unknown, where you learn resilience, adaptability, and trust. Without redirection, many people would remain in positions beneath their potential simply because they were afraid to move. Redirection also creates room for clarity. When a door closes, it forces you to reevaluate what you truly want and why you want it. It allows you to reflect on your strengths, your passions, and the direction of your life. In that reflection, you may discover that what you were chasing wasn't actually aligned with your purpose in the first place. Sometimes you don't know you're on the wrong road until it comes to a dead end. The end of that path doesn't mean failure, it means the beginning of a better one. Redirection can illuminate desires you never considered, paths you hadn't imagined, and opportunities far more fulfilling than the ones you thought you needed. Ultimately, redirection teaches you to trust that every shift has meaning, even when it is uncomfortable. Instead of viewing closed doors as signs of inadequacy, you begin to see them as signals pointing you towards something more fitting, more purposeful, and more aligned with who you are becoming. Faith in the unseen is the courage to trust that there is purpose, direction, and intention behind your life, even when you cannot clearly see the path ahead. It means choosing to believe that the invisible work happening behind the scenes is just as real as what you can physically observe. When you look at your circumstances and see uncertainty, silence, or lack of progress, faith reminds you that is not limited by what your eyes can see. There is more occurring beneath the surface than you realize. Just like a seed buried in soil appears lifeless before it sprouts, the seasons of hidden growth in your life often look like nothing is happening. Yet everything is being prepared. Faith in the unseen is the ability to trust the process without demanding full visibility. Life frequently presents moments where your surroundings seem to contradict your belief in a greater plan. You may feel stuck, overlooked, or unsure of what comes next. But faith is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to move forward despite it. It is the daily action of saying, I don't know how this will work out, but I trust that it will. In circumstances where clarity is missing, faith becomes your vision. It fills the gap between where you are and where you are meant to be. Even when the job offer hasn't come, the opportunity hasn't arrived, or the door hasn't opened, faith allows you to believe that what is meant for you is already in motion. Trusting in the unseen requires letting go of the belief that you must control every outcome. It teaches you to release the pressure of figuring out every detail and to rest in the assurance that there is a plan unfolding beyond your understanding. When you rely solely on what you can see, you limit yourself to the boundaries of your current situation. But when you rely on faith, you open yourself to possibilities that are bigger than your present reality. Faith keeps you from shrinking your dreams to match your circumstances. It reminds you that God's promises are not dependent on visible evidence. They are dependent on His character. Another challenge in trusting the unseen is learning to separate temporary conditions from permanent truths. A lack of progress today does not mean a lack of purpose. Closed doors do not signal the end of your journey. Delays do not erase your calling. Faith helps you hold on to what is true. Even when your situation feels discouraging, it keeps you grounded when emotions fluctuate and circumstances shift. Faith empowers you to stand firm, believing that what you cannot see yet is already being shaped for your good. Faith in the unseen is ultimately about aligning your perspective with a higher vision. It allows you to move confidently even when the path is unclear, to hope when the outcome is unpredictable, and to trust when the timing is unfamiliar. It strengthens your resilience, deepens your patience, and anchors your heart in the understanding that what is ahead of you is greater than what is behind you. Purpose precedes provision means that the resources, opportunities, and support you need in life are tied to the path you were created to walk, not the one you try to force. Many people search endlessly for stability, security, and financial certainty, believing that once they have enough provision, they can finally pursue their purpose. But in reality, it often works the other way around. Provision begins to flow when you step into alignment with your calling. When you pursue the work you were designed to do, the path begins to supply what the journey requires. Purpose opens doors that effort alone cannot. It draws the right people, places, and opportunities toward you because purpose is magnetic. It attracts what belongs to it. This principle invites you to shift your mindset from chasing provision to seeking purpose. When you live with the belief that you must secure everything before you begin, you will always feel unprepared or underqualified. You'll delay progress out of fear of not having enough. But purpose calls you to start where you are, with what you have, trusting that more will be provided as you move forward. You do not need the full picture to take the first step. You do not need all the resources to begin the work. Provision is often unlocked in motion, not in stillness. The moment you act on purpose, the support that seemed distant begins to surface. Many people feel stuck in life because they are chasing jobs that offer provision, but not alignment. They accept roles that pay the bills, but starve the soul. While temporary provision can sustain you, it cannot fulfill you. When you choose purpose over convenience, you begin to experience a different kind of provision. One that includes peace, clarity, passion, and direction. Purpose offers more than money, it offers meaning. And when meaning is present, you can endure challenges, navigate uncertainty, and remain committed even when the journey feels difficult. Provision without purpose may fill your hands for a season, but purpose with provision fills your life. Purpose also brings access to divine resources. When you walk in alignment with what God created you to do, you are not walking alone. Doors you could never open begin to open. People you never thought you'd meet begin to appear. Skills you didn't know you possessed begin to emerge. Purpose activates favor. Moments that cannot be explained by talent or logic alone. These moments are signs that provision is attached to your calling, not your striving. It is not about earning God's help. but about stepping into the place where his help was already waiting. Purpose precedes provision because provision is designed to support what God has already placed inside you. You are equipped for your purpose, and the world is equipped to receive it. When you trust that your calling is real, you stop panicking about what you lack and start recognizing what you carry. The moment you choose to walk in purpose, you position yourself to receive the provision that was always meant for you.